Hey guys, so in our previous session we learned how to take a possible solution and check to see if that in fact was a true solution. So what that means is when we had an equation and we had a missing part to the equation, it gave us a possible solution and we just had to test to see if it was true. But what if it doesn't give us any options to test? So we need to be able to find that solution on our own. So we're going to learn how to do that today. That's going to be using, we're going to be solving one-step equations. So the first thing we're going to do, we are going to find the side of the equation with the variable and determine the operation being used. So we're going to determine the operation that's being used. Second, we're going to isolate the variable. Now what that means, we're going to use the inverse operation. We're going to use the inverse operation. And guys, remember that the inverse operation just means the opposite operation. So the opposite operation. Okay? So third, we're going to solve the problem. We're going to find the solution. We're going to find the answer because remember, solution means answer. That's what we call an answer with an equation. And fourth, then we're going to check it. Okay, a lot of you, can I tell you, this is where you are going to lose points. This is where you're going to get the problem wrong. Most of you think, I did it right, but you don't check your solution. We're going to double check ourselves. We're going to double check by submitting the solution in the original equation. So if both sides are equal, remember how we just learned how to balance it? We had to make sure it was balanced. If both sides are balanced, then the solution is correct. If not, we did something wrong. We had an error. Here's the deal. Some of you are going to fight us on this. You're going to do it. So sorry, Charlie. All right, you must show all your steps. All the steps we do, you're going to do. Sorry. You have to check your work. You have to. If you do not follow the process, it will be marked wrong. It will be marked wrong. I promise. Okay, now, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so yes, it looks like there's lots of boxes just to kind of help keep your mind straight here. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we are going to first find the side of the equation with the variable, okay, and determine the operation being used. What operation is this? Okay, so we are adding, so our operation is addition. Second, we're going to use the inverse, second, we're going to use the inverse operation. So first, we found the side of the equation with the variable. That's this side. Okay, so I found it was on this side, and I was going to be adding. So instead, we are going to be using the inverse operation. Okay, let's just determine what is the opposite operation of addition. What's the opposite operation? So the opposite of addition is subtraction. Okay? Okay, so we're going to use our inverse operation to solve. So instead of adding this 12, I'm going to subtract my 12. If I do it on one side, guys, guess what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to do it on the other, so minus 12. Okay? All right. Now, we know that 12 minus 12, it's going to cancel. He just goes away. That equals 0, so he's just not there anymore. Okay? And we know that 20 minus 12 is going to give us 8. 20 minus 12 is 8. We're going to bring down what's left in our solution. T equals 8. Okay, so we think T equals 8, but let's just double check ourselves. So for my T, I'm going to write, what did we say T should equal? 8. Okay, plus 12 equals 20. 8 plus 12, let's just double check. 12 plus 8, that's a 10, carry my 1, 20. Good, so 20 equals 20. Remember, we're going to balance our equation. Does 20 equal 20? Yes, that is a true statement. So is T equal to 8? Yes, that is a true statement. And guys, some of you are thinking, well, in my head, I already knew that I would need to have an 8 to make over here equal 20. Okay, fantastic. We still want you to show the steps because we're going to give you problems that are harder. We want you to see the process so when we get to harder numbers, you can do it. Okay, so for the second problem, we have y minus 67 equals 108. So we don't know what our y equals. We want to know something minus 67 is going to give us 100. I said 108. I'm sorry, guys. 109. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, find the side of the equation with the variable and determine the operation being used. Okay, so my variable is on this side over here, and the operation is subtraction. So step 2, we're going to isolate it. We're going to use the inverse operation. Okay, so the opposite of subtract is add. Yay! All right, so instead of subtracting 67, I'm going to add 67. Okay, these two are going to both cancel because I took away and then added back. And then I am going to add 67. Okay, instead of showing my work over here because it gets kind of sloppy, I'm going to come over here and we're going to show our work. So 109 plus 67. That's going to give me 16. Carry my 1. That's a 7 and a 1. Okay, so 109 plus 67 is 176. Bring down my equal sign. So we think that y equals 176, but let's double check. So let's go ahead and we said 176 should be where y is. Minus 67 equals 109. Okay, so I have 176 minus 67. All right, so 76, so that would become a 16, and this would become a 6. 16 minus 7 is 9. 6 minus 6 is 0. 1, bring down my 1. Okay, so 109 equals 109. Is that a true fact? That is true, which means y equals 176. Okay? So if I were to put it back in, I would say 176 minus 67 is going to equal 109, and those two things are equal. All right, so this last one, we have 172 plus c equals 562. So I'm going to find the side with my variable. This is this side. We are adding. The opposite of adding is subtracting. So instead of adding 172, what am I going to do? Subtract it. So I subtract from this side, and we know that this is going to cancel. But I also have to subtract from this side. All right, now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to solve this to keep my work nice and neat. That way I don't get anything confused. So we have 562 minus 172. 2 minus 2 is 0. 6 minus 7 I can't do, so I'm going to come next door and borrow. And that becomes 16. 16 minus 7 is 9. 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, so C equals 390. We think that's right, but let's double check. So I have 172 plus, let's see, 390 equals 562. Okay, so when I add my 390 plus 172 to 16, 1, and that would give me 5. So 562 equals 562. And is 562 equal to 562? Yes. That is a true statement, which means C equals 390. All right, guys, so go ahead and pause this video, and we want you to go ahead and solve those next 4 problems on the back side of this page or on page 2. We want you to go ahead and solve those problems. When you are finished, you may unpause the video, and you may check to see that your answers are correct, and I'll kind of walk through them real quick. All right, guys, welcome back. So hopefully by this point you have gone through and you have solved these last 4 problems. So I'm just going to kind of talk through them real quickly just to make sure that you understand and that you got them correct. Or if you got them wrong, you see where you went wrong. So for this first one, my initial problem was x minus 25. So something minus 25 is going to give me 56. I initially was subtracting, so that means I need to be adding. So I added 25 to one side, so it means I have to add it to the other. So 56 plus 25 is 81, and then I brought down my x because that's what was left. I went back and double checked. 81 minus 25 does in fact equal 56, so 56 is equal to 56. So that makes my answer true. X is equal to 81. For this second one, we had 214 is equal to 27 plus p. So 27 plus something is going to give us 214. So on my side, I have that I was supposed to be adding, so that means I'm supposed to be subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 27 from both sides. So 214 minus 27 is 187. Brought down my p. When I plugged it back in, I found that this does in fact balance because 27 and 187 is going to give me 214, so those balance. So 187 is equal to p. Now on this one, you'll notice that my variable is on the other side. We do want you to keep it on the side that it's supposed to be solved on. See how it's on this side, on the right side to begin with? That's where we want you to keep it. Once you get up to higher level maths, this will actually make a difference. Does it actually make the answer incorrect? No, but we'd like you to try to get in the habit of that. All right, so this third one, there we go, move that up for you. This third one, something minus 101 is going to give us 134. Since I was subtracting, I need to use my inverse operation and I need to add. So I was going to add my 101 to one side. I have to do it to the other. 134 plus 101 is 235. So 235 equals S. Guys, for some of you, it had a 5. I'm not sure why. Make sure you wrote S into that. I should have told you that before you solved. I apologize. Okay, so when I went back and resolved, 134 equals 235 minus 101. 235 minus 101 is equal to 134. 134 is equal to 134. Yes, check. That does in fact balance, which means 235 is my solution. It's my answer. And lastly, 16 plus something, 16 plus r is going to give me 44. So because I was supposed to be adding, it means I'm going to do my inverse operation. I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. I have 44 minus 16 is 28. R equals 28. When I plugged it back in, 16 plus 28 gave me 44. That is equivalent to each other, so that does balance, meaning R is my solution. R is 28.